morning, HC Nation. It's been a long time. Sorry, I went on vacation and I was hoping to get more of these out, but I did not have enough. So that's why we missed it the last 2 days. But we are back. We are back. This is fun. This is great. We are today going to go walk you through Machu Picchu. That's right. So all of today is based on Machu Picchu. From when we wake up to when we go to bed, it's Machu Picchu and our travel back. And we won't focus much on the travel back, except I do have some ruins I want to show you on the way back. But today's going to be Machu Picchu. So if you haven't been part of this, you need to go back and watch the last 5 episodes. It's everything Peru. It was my whole trip going through Peru. I've got videos galore of every different type of cultural dances, of museums, of ruins, of things like that, all throughout Cusco, and also the Sacred Valley, which leads up to Machu Picchu. Now, today we're going to be also talking about one of the sad things about Machu Picchu, where UNICEF, the UN organization, somehow, and the government of Peru, of course, have decided that they want to close down Machu Picchu. Now, this is still tentative, and as you'll see in one of our videos, yeah, this was funny. They actually built I think it was 1990, no, it was before it was 1980s, late 1980s. They started building an airport. It was supposed to be the international airport for Cusco, and it's still not built. And actually, it's the shell of it, and they only show you the shell of it because they're not done with it. And truthfully, I don't think, as a construction guy, I don't think it will ever be built. It's just what it is. It just will never be built. But the hope is that they don't actually close down Machu Picchu, because they might say they want to close down Machu Picchu, but they also don't want to give up all the money that it creates. Sorry to say, not many people are going to go to Cusco if they can't go to Machu Picchu. It is the pinnacle of Cusco. So Cusco will lose half of its revenue. Aguas Calientes, which is the city that we were at the morning of the time we went up to Machu Picchu, that place would be completely out of business. The whole thing was built off of Machu Picchu and the popularity of Machu Picchu. Literally, there are no roads going into that city. It's by train, and it's the end of the railroad where everyone gets off because they're getting to Machu Picchu. So what do you do if you have no Machu Picchu? Well, then you don't have a city. That's pretty scary for those people. I mean, that is a lot of money that comes in for Peru itself. So you shut down Machu Picchu, you shut down a lot of the tourism in Peru, which is also a reason why I think they are not going to ever do it. But we don't know. And we'll go over that as well. Actually, we won't. I won't. Our tour guide will. I'll show you a video of him actually explaining what's going on there. So we've got our handy dandy tour guide book. Now, this is the same book that the tour guides all use. And I've got my calendar of everything that we did on that trip. So starting off with Aguas Calientes, which means hot waters, or actually hot springs. Now, we could have gone to the hot springs. We chose not to because, again, according to our tour guide, it's nothing really that pretty. It's just a hot spring and people can bathe in it. And it's not very big and it's not very popular. It's not really one of the things that people go to, but it's at Aguas Calientes, the city that we were at. But I showed you a few pictures from there in the last episode. This time I'm going to show you more pictures. We're going to start off with Aguas Calientes. This is Aguas Calientes. Our hotel is right here. Now, it was an okay hotel. The bed was hard. It was not like Tierra Viva, which is the hotel that we were at back in Cusco. And look at this. These are the train tracks. These are not the main train tracks. These are another set of train tracks that are coming into the city. Well, if these train tracks are coming into the city and our bedroom was I think that was literally our bedroom right there, it was quite noisy because they went all night long. I think till 10 o'clock and then started at 4 o'clock. Wasn't the best. Plus, they probably even ran even longer than that. We had to close our windows so we stopped hearing them as much. but you would still hear them. So I tried to have a good night's sleep before going to Machu Picchu because there was going to be a lot of hiking, but there wasn't much sleep. It was not a good night's sleep. No. Okay, this was cool. So this is right outside of the, right in the middle of the city. And this is a river that's running through the city with that built into the side of the rock. So that's actually bedrock, and that's carved. Most likely not by the Incas. This is probably because of tourism. But it does show you what they would do. They have this large wall over here. They have bridges that come over, and this runs right through the city. It's almost like a focal point. Remember, Aguas Calientes, hot waters. So was this water from the hot springs? Probably not. That was a lot of water going through, so probably not. Now, another thing is this is the very back of the line. It went for about a quarter mile before you could get on the buses. It literally took us 30 minutes of buses coming constantly picking up tourists to get us down there. According to our tour guide, he has never seen it so busy. The only reason why it was that busy was because it was the celebration of the sun. It was not the summer solstice. It was the winter solstice. And that is when they do all their celebrations down in Cusco. But of course, if tourism's coming from that, they're coming up here to see Machu Picchu. Because again, it is the pinnacle. And yes, these are some of the dogs that lived in this area. They would just sleep right in the middle. Now, they were considered guard dogs, but they didn't usually come inside as family dogs. Though they were owned by the family, they basically they had a certain terrain that was theirs. And they felt very safe in their terrain. And people respected the dogs enough that they just walk around them. And the dogs did not even move. This person would be walking right past them, not even a move, because they were so used to it. Okay, so some of these pictures are going to work. Some of these videos are going to work. I'm actually going to clip this and put it for full screen so you can see the whole video in actual real time and not being so laggy. I've got some issues with the computer. I apologize for that. But we will make sure that you get all these videos without lag as we go through. So let's pass this one, or let's jump to the full screen, and then we'll get back to, this is the bus ride going up the mountainside. Literally, we're going up and back and up and back and up and down. I mean, it was, what do they call it? When you go back and forth, up and down. It was, we basically scaling the mountain with buses. So, but interesting enough, these buses were probably what, 7 feet wide, a normal 7 feet wide. And then we had another bus trying to scoot by us. So that's about 14 feet. And literally these roads were probably like 16 to 17 feet wide. So these buses were coming just that close, right past each other, trying to get up this hill. And they drove fast. All these guys were so trained. But as far as we could tell, there hasn't been an accident on this mountain forever. I swear they had to have GPS, because sometimes they went around corners and they knew exactly where the buses were going to be, because they would slow down right before and pass them and keep going. It was just like, holy cow, this is like almost like robotic. But that's how good the bus drivers were to get us up this mountain.
Right there, babe. Machu Picchu.
Okay. Let's stop this.
Up here. There you go.
So I hope you enjoyed the ride up, but now we're at the top. Here is, well, and I didn't take a picture of the actual gates going in, but you walk up some stairs, you get up to this point, and it's the sunrise. Now, our tour guide said, I'm going to get you there by sunrise. And we said, okay, so should we go like really, really, really early? He said, no, no, no. Let's go at 5:30. Like our bus was actually supposed to leave at like 6:45. So, sorry, 6:45. So he said 6:30. Okay, so we had to get up around 5 o'clock, have breakfast, finish packing up, and get down to the hotel lobby by 6:30. And I said, is there any way we can make it a little earlier? And everyone looks at me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room. We know that somebody or some people in this group are not going to be on time. So for that reason, can we get down here early and then leave at the appropriate time, but all get here so we don't have to worry, because that line is going to be long, and we didn't know how long it was going to be. We did not know it was going to be as long as it would be. And so we get there, and of course, we had people that were, I think, 10 minutes late, which brought us exactly to where we wanted to be. But we told them we had to be there 15 minutes early because we knew they weren't going to be on time. Okay. But our tour guide promised we would see the sun rise over the mountains. And boom, look at that. He was awesome. Check that out. Perfect view. I have so many pictures like this. Some that are better than you see here, but it wasn't the best shot for video. But yeah, I've got a ton of these images. So these are just some of them. Oh yeah, that was a nice one. That was a nice one. Okay. So if I turn around and start walking down the path about another 20 to 30 yards, I would see this. So this is the start of Machu Picchu. These walls are basically all the way up to the top of Machu Picchu. We are at the very bottom of Machu Picchu. So we have to climb up these tourist stairs behind everyone. And there is quite the line by the time we get on here. And I'm going to be making these stops and taking pictures or showing you pictures and taking videos. So of course I was in the back because I had to get these shots, and all my other associates were trying to get up to the top so they could take pictures from up there. So this is where it all started. This was literally the type of house or type of hut you would see back in Machu Picchu. Now, you will not see it like this. This was only an example. The thatch roofs totally would have deteriorated, completely abandoned by the Inca, or by the oh shoot, whatever their language was. We'll just say Incas. Okay, so this is a remodeled by archaeologists on what it would have looked like being on the side of the hill. So you have an entrance up here, and you probably have an entrance down below. And this is a 2-story building because they did have them there. And yeah, this is just one of the buildings that we will see until we get here. This is Machu Picchu. Now I'm going to grow this one because you got to see it in full. It's full glory. I mean, check this thing out. This is a set of ruins. It's actually one of the most preserved and the best ruins that we have in almost all the world, because it was not touched by conquerors. This was a set of ruins that when the Spanish showed up in Peru, the Incas here said, hey, we've been told that we need to leave, drop everything, we are out of here. The Spanish are coming, and we do not want we do not want to let them know where Machu Picchu is. So they left. Now, our tour guide is going to walk you through a lot of things about Machu Picchu, the very interesting stories about the mountains and stuff like that. But there's some things I want to point you right now. This up here is the observation center, the observatory. This is where they observed the sky. So you have a university down here, or what they think is the university, and the observatory up here. Now, they did actually have observatories with reflection pools down below. Now, they didn't have microscopes. They used what we call, or what they call, archaeologists call, reflection pools. And that's basically where the sky would reflect off the water, and you would study the water on the ground. Now, it's really interesting. Why don't you just look up to the sky? Lay down, look up to the sky, and so peaceful, and maybe fall asleep because you're so bored, waiting for the right stars to go. But maybe because it was concaved, it gave it a type of reflection that was different. More magnified, maybe? I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't think so logically. But there's a reason why they had these reflection pools. And again, he'll go over this as we go. But this was most likely the quarters where everyone stayed. This is where they had their celebrations. And there's actually an idol right here that we're going to get a closer up look, not at the idol itself, because they just found it recently. But it is a full-scale statue that's still intact. It was sunk into the ground, which is probably why they think it's an idol. It was sunk into the ground because it was totally preserved. But it's not going to be visible for at least another year. And they're starting to go in and clean it out. Now, you have to understand, Peru does not really fund these projects. It's usually organizations outside of Peru that fund archaeologists, mostly inside Peru or from other places, and they'll come in and they'll do this work. So whether it was the American, his name was Hiram Brigham, he came around, but he came around this side. He went down the river, and it was on the opposite side of the mountain. While he was there at night, he started talking to some of the elders, and the elders actually told him about this place. He's like, really? I need to check this out. Would one of you be able to help me get up here? And a child actually said, I'll do it. I probably like 14, 15 years old. And so he quickly helped them climb the mountain and found it in complete ruins. Actually, I've got a great picture in here of it, but it just shows how ruined it was. Let's see. Okay, I got a bunch of pictures in here of Hiram Brigham and what it looked like before. Yeah, there's just a lot of pictures. Okay, let's just do this. We don't need that yet. Okay, so there's everything from, there's some of the people that were helping him to explore it. And you can see all covered with vines up above. That's another picture that Hiram Brigham took. But then it comes to, here's Hiram Brigham and the young man. Actually, I think it said his name. Nope, not on this one. Actually, our tour guide will actually mention his name. Oh yeah, so this is how it looked. And this is what it looks like now. So you can see the difference. Here we got another great picture. I just saw. Oh, here he is. Here are the reflection pools. Now again, our tour guide will talk to you more about it, but you can see that it was not kept up at all. So over here. On this side, it shows some digging into the caves of this area and some of the huts. And then there's more pictures of this people. Yes, this is the one I was looking for. This is all the terrace gardens. You can see how dilapidated they are, how much they're falling apart. Yeah, so everything here in Machu Picchu is like torn apart by vines, by nature, not by the Spanish, not by conquerors. Fully preserved as it was, or may have been, after the Incas left. Now, again, after the deterioration of the roofs, they would have deteriorated, which created some of the vines, some of the rock walls fell apart, so they built them back as well as they could. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? It's almost surreal that we were there. This has been on my bucket list forever. And just the ability to come and be part of this was amazing. I would not have given it up for any other trip in the whole world. Egypt is a close second, but Machu Picchu has been number one because of what we've learned from it. So this is a little bit closer up above the actual houses, or the huts, the dwellings of the people. More of the dwellings. This is more of the celebration area. I think this one was the Temple of the Soul, so Temple of the Sun. While they found later on the Temple of the Moon, Temple of the Moon is actually on the other side of this mountain right here, be after the observatory. So you go up to the observatory, you go down, and there's the Temple of the Moon. Very treacherous to get to, which is why they don't actually have paths there for regular tourists to go up. Now, here's an interesting thing about this mountain. Let's go stay here. With this mountain up here where the observatory was, you can actually climb it. You can hike up it. There's like staircases. But a few years ago, a German tourist who got permission to go up there fell to his death coming back down. So it's a climb up, going up, but it is even worse coming back down. So they do not allow people, normal people, to go up there. You have to have actually permission to go up there. So Templo de Sol is much easier to get to. It's great to be able to see. And now this part, down here is the university, and up here they say is most likely the palace where the royals would live. Well, down here would be the university, and actually there's some university parts up here as well. You just can't get to them. They don't allow you to go up there as of right now. Now you can actually go on the backside, but you can't go in those buildings. Probably because, as I said, it's starting to fall apart. Okay. That's the university area. So all these different buildings are supposedly university-esque. These are the terraces, and what you see right here is most likely what Hiram Brigham actually saw, was just walls dilapidated, falling down. So he restored a lot of the walls, but not all of the walls. And that's the observatory, as I was saying. And most likely there's tiered agriculture up there as well, because they had to eat. And they probably didn't want to climb down and climb back up, climb down and climb back up every day. Though they probably could have. I mean, they were very healthy people and very prone to climbing. They had agriculture up there so they could survive.
Okay, so the terraces are just like to keep
There was
them
astronomer, the astronomer lived there, especially in the
Okay.
night. His job was to recognize
Yeah, I
stars
mean that's a
in
good
Milky Way.
spot.
Exactly. Behind the mountain, the other side, like 25 minutes down,
Uh-huh.
recently, I think 20 years ago, two scholars found the Temple of the Moon.
Oh, cool.
The scholars were excited to find the Temple of the Moon. They were exploring Machu Picchu, Sudan. Where is the Temple of the Moon? And they found behind Huayna Picchu. Yeah, they found behind Huayna Picchu. That is Huayna Picchu Mountain. Exactly. Probably one of the best spots.
Can people
see
still
Machu Picchu.
access that?
There is a train which is going there. You need to get the ticket, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like a fun
Difficult
hike.
trails, never trails. Switch back
Yeah.
down there, you see the river. Uphill could be comfortable. Going down is very difficult. I've been twice
Sounds like both
there.
are uncomfortable.
On the way down,
Yeah,
I
scary.
couldn't walk down because I was scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so he just confirmed everything I just said about the Temple of the Moon, and how treacherous it is going up to the observatory, which is why you have to get permission before going up there. Now, I'm going to do a presentation I'm going to let him present a lot of information about Machu Picchu. It's about 14 minutes long, so I hope you enjoy. I think it's actually the next video. Nope, see, that's me. Yeah. I don't know why I wore that shirt, but I did. My pirate shirt. Okay, but looking over Machu Picchu, my wife wanted to take a picture of me, so I said, sure, why not? So that's me observing Machu Picchu. Okay, so it's not exactly where I thought it was, where we're going to do the large presentation. I think it's one of the next videos that are coming up. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So we got like 4 videos that you're going to see one by one right afterwards. Now this is interesting because this is actually one of the huts of the people that were taking care of the agricultural land up above at one point. Then it turned into a military establishment because they had to watch out for those that were coming down the Incan roads. Now the Incan roads were actually up above. They were up high. And so he'll explain all of this as we go. So let's get into this. Let's make sure.
The killjoy bird. I'm going to explain everything. The mysteries of the Incas. Can we get a picture first?
Pause this. Okay. So as you can see up here, this is the Inca road that was coming down through the mountain and would come into the agriculture area. This is why that had to become a military establishment, because the Inca military would have to watch over it to make sure nobody that with nefarious reasons to be there could come in. So there was a checkpoint where people actually have to get cleared before they go into Machu Picchu. Now, what you'll see later on is they actually have one gate going in there. Now, of course, some of the walls have come down, so they've made other ways into Machu Picchu. But according to our guide, there was only one way in. And literally, it was big enough for a big person to go through or a mule to go through. If you couldn't have 2, 3, 4 people wide, so you couldn't have an army go through. So everyone had to go in one by one, which made it easier to protect in case of an attack. Though, as far as we know in records, it was never attacked. They just wanted to make sure that there would be no attack. So the military kept watch. Actually, let's go back to this.
I'm going to explain everything. The
Show you a little
mysteries
bit more of the
Incas. Can we
scenery.
get a picture first? Yeah, we don't have time for secrets.
For example, look at, you see those
We
guys?
get a picture.
They are coming from the classical Inca chain. 4 days ago.
No, I was talking about the bird.
No, from all Antitam.
This is the landscaping surrounding this area.
I was just talking about.
They're sleeping back. This morning, they
Isn't that
began
beautiful?
to hiking 2 a.m. or 3
And now you know why it would be
far away
hard
from
for the Spanish
last
or
place
anybody to
coming
find
to
this,
Machu Picchu.
because that kind of tree cover was probably all over Machu Picchu, the vines and bushes and everything. And later it would be restored by an archaeologist by the name of Hiram
They are
Brigham.
going to take it back down and train.
Okay. Now comes his spiel, his talk. So we're gonna go full screen. You're gonna be able to see it, and then we'll come back to me. Okay. So let's go to the next one.
If we just couple minutes, I want to introduce Machu Picchu. Yeah. Amigos, talking about this place, we have to ask him a lot of questions. Yeah. And remember, I want to be honest with you.
Right.
We don't know exactly how was Machu Picchu at Inca's time. Remember, Spaniards never been here. Yeah, that is the main reason why Machu Picchu has several legends, histories. Yeah, beginning. Machu Picchu wasn't the official name for this place. Machu Picchu wasn't a city. Yeah, we've been in the Sacred Valley yesterday, no? Pisa, Ollantaytam. Those places were a huge city, no? Provincial capitals. But Machu Picchu was different. Yeah, remember, once we came here, look at the environment. You know, they found the best spot to build this sacred city. Yeah, once Incas began to expand the territory, probably you heard about Pachacute. He was the best leader in South America. Yeah, he improved the civilization. So he decided to looking for in this environment in the tropical jungle. You know, he said we need to build new cities far away from the highlands. Why was important, no? This environment, the tropical jungle. You know, they grow a lot of coca leaves in this environment. The coca leaves was very important in the civilization. They just for everything, for rituals, no? They chew coca leaves every day. That was very good. Look at it. In the background, we see the Andes Mountain. Imagine staying here in the night. In case the sky is clear.
Do they let people stay here at night?
No, just scholars. Yeah, during night you can observe the Milky Way. You know, the stars. You see the mountain? That is Huayna Picchu. Huayna Picchu mountain. Yeah, Huayna Picchu, Huayna means young.
Jungle?
And Picchu is the name of the mountain. Huayna Picchu means young mountain. In other cases we say forever young mountain. You see this mountain in the background? That is Machu Picchu mountain. Yep. That is the reason why the expedition of National Geographic in 1911 they call Machu Picchu for the Inca side.
What is Machu Picchu?
Old mountain.
Oh,
Old mountain.
old mountain.
Yes.
What's the real name for that? What's the Cusco name? Or the Quechua name for Machu Picchu?
Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows the real name for this Incas. Yeah, we have to asking a lot of questions. How was Machu Picchu Inca's time? Who built Machu Picchu? Why Incas people left Machu Picchu? How many people there was at Machu Picchu? A lot of questions. Yeah. A normal tourist ask me, Manuel, how the Incas built the city in this part of the mountain? Yeah? The main part was built on the top of the mountain. The materials, no stones they found right here. We're gonna see them over. You know, they didn't travel from far away like all Antitamo yesterday. They found here. Yeah? And Incas followed the valley, the Ubamba River. On your journey yesterday by train, are you seeing the river, yeah? Going into the valley. Along the valley, Incas built a comfortable trail, which was coming from Cusco, passing the Cycle Valley until this environment. Now, we don't know how many Inca buildings there are in this environment. 5 years ago, they found another ancient Inca site, which is 3 times bigger than Machu Picchu. Up in the mountain. Yeah? His name is Choquequirao. Remember, scholars are excited to find El Dorado. They believe in Dorado. You know, there are scholars from United States, from other universities around the world. They are looking for El Dorado now. In this environment. Yeah, this environment, not the tropical jungle and also the Amazon jungle, Incas use for the refuge. Once the Spaniards arrived Cusco, a lot of people left Cusco City. And they came from this region. That's why the last 6 buildings by Incas in this environment. Not especially in the Amazon jungle. The problem is the access. It's very dangerous. You know, snakes, jaguars. It's very difficult to explore in the Amazon jungle.
So is the new city they found in the Amazon jungle?
Yeah. And above Machu Picchu. At the beginning, no, in 1911, in this case, National Geographic were interested to come Peru. They were excited to find the lost city of the Incas. Not they decided to come Peru, but no, actually Cusco. You know, they were excited to climb in Coropuna. Coropuna is the highest mountain near Arequipa, not near the sea. Coropuna is the highest mountain where it's beginning the Amazonas River, not the basin of the Amazonas River. So it was riding along. There was scholars, no? Anthropologists, engineers, a lot of scholars from United States, in this case from the Yale University. Eh? They came to Cusco. Once they go Cusco City, they met with locals. Locals told to the leader of the expedition, in this case, Mr. Hiram Binga, you must go to the tropical jungle near Salcantay Mountain. You need to explore in those environments. So, the expedition began in Cusco. They have to walk plenty of kilometers, especially the first part in the highlands. They have to pass the Andes to get in here. They were exploring, looking for ancient ruins. Unfortunately, they didn't find nothing in this environment. 45 days exploring in this environment, no? Mosquitoes, the food. They decide to back Cusco City. I mean, along the valley, there was an ancient trail, which was going to Cusco also, to this area. They follow the ancient trail. You see the mountain? That is why in a picture behind the mountain, the other side, the lower part, there is a small community which is calling Mandor Pampa, Mandor. On the journey back for the expedition, they stopped in that community because they were tired, you know, hungry, comida. So they decided to spend the night in that community. And once the leader of the expedition met with locals, you know, a local guy, in this case a Quechua farmer, he told about the mountain, about Huayna Picchu. He said to the leader of the expedition, no, behind this mountain, there is a huge Inca ruins in the hidden. And the leader was happy. He said, tomorrow morning, let me knock that Inca ruins. Next day in the morning, you remember we passed the bridge this morning? There wasn't a bridge. Remember once Incas left this sacred place, they broken the access. They broken the suspension bridges. There wasn't access. It was more difficult for Spaniards finding Machu Picchu. It was the same in the Sacred Valley. The first part of the trail, Incas destroyed. Spaniards couldn't find the rest of the trail. That was the reason why Spaniards never been here, my friend. Otherwise, we could see a colonial temple now, like Cusco City. Yeah? Remember, they never been in Machu Picchu. Probably Spaniards were exploring the lower part of along the valley. But who imagined Incas build a city in this part of the mountain? Even in this environment, normally it's raining whole year. Machu Picchu has a dry season. Look at this guy. Maybe in a couple hours it will rain. Every day it's raining in Machu Picchu. Once Spaniards were exploring along this area, probably the forest covered whole the city. Machu Picchu was in the hidden. Even in the lower part, they couldn't find the trails, no access. So, in 1911, no, the leader, they crossed, you know, they have to cut the wood and they make a new bridge to pass from the other side to this side of the mountain. And they follow the ancient trail. At the checkpoint, it was so interesting for the leader. Once they arrived to the official checkpoint, they found two families living here. In this case, Quechua's people living here. Not inside Machu Picchu, outside Machu Picchu. Because for those people, Machu Picchu was a heritage. That's why they decided to live it outside, not inside Machu Picchu. Once Hiram Bingham met with locals, you know, they say we need to climb in like 15 minutes. Actually, this is spot. They arrived to this spot. And they see the whole Inca site in the hidden. And Mr. Jaramillo say, this is the lost city of the Incas. This is El Dorado. But, you know, he was excited. He was exploring in the lower part, taking plenty of pictures. So, he decided to back to the base camp. No? He said to the rest of the expedition, I found the lost city of the Incas. The next day in the morning, they back to Machu Picchu again with the whole staff of the expedition. So they were happy staying here. That's what they believe, no? Machu Picchu was the lost city of the Incas. However, Machu Picchu wasn't the lost city of the Incas. Machu Picchu wasn't the last capital building by Incas people. Machu Picchu was a special place. Look at the environment. Yeah? I mean, they found the best spot to build this city. You know? The city is in harmony with the nature. And it's so interesting how the Incas respect the nature, the mountains. So, next year, 1912, you know, they decide to back Machu Picchu. You know, they back to United States, they said to National Geographic, I found El Dorado, please give me money. We need money to restore the whole Inca site. 1912, they decided to back Machu Picchu. It was pretty hard to restore, to cleaning the whole city. Remember, 100 years ago there wasn't cars, no trains. They had to walk in from Cusco. You know, they used plenty of horses to transport food, materials, to restore the whole part of Machu Picchu. Almost in 11 months, they restored the moon part because it was difficult. I'm gonna show some pictures for you. Look at this picture. See?
That's what it looked like when they.
Wow.
Yeah. All those pictures.
So this is before.
Yeah, 1911.
Wasn't El Dorado supposed to be the city of gold, though? Was there gold here?
No alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1911, no? I mean, they began to restore the whole park. Harabinga was excited to find a lot of gold, a lot of treasures. However, they didn't find a lot of treasures because once Incas left Machu Picchu, they carried with them those treasures. That's why scholars still are looking for El Dorado, the lost city of the Incas. They found mummies, ceremonial potteries, textiles, and not a lot of gold or silver. Yeah? And look up. 1912, you know? They were restored. So they were clean in different parts of it.
Was Hiram being from Yale?
Yeah, he was a teacher.
Okay.
He was a teacher. Look up, so more interesting. Locals. There was Quechua speakers. Remember, for Spaniards, it was very difficult to avoid this environment, no? Especially the environment, the weather. They prefer to live in the Sacred Valley or Cusco City.
So they think that after they left the city, 80 years later, they came back?
Exactly. That's why, you know, Hiram Bingham found locals living in Machu Picchu. Even in some terraces, those farmers were growing maize.
No, why did the Quechuan people they found live like at the checkpoint but not in Machu Picchu?
Because they respect the Inca site. They say, no, the building was built by our ancestors, we need to conserve it.
So like a holy site.
Look at this picture, please. You see this picture?
Yeah.
Maize. In this
No,
picture.
why didn't the local people like to preserve it, uncover it and stuff?
Because there was escalates in different parts, mummies. That's why they say no,
Oh, so
especially.
like leave it. So when Hiram Bingham started excavating it, did they have a hard time with that?
Look at this picture. Mr. Hiram Bingham. Yeah? And a local boy, no? Pablito. Pablito. Look at the picture. He has his classical poncho, no? Similar. Poncho. Yeah.
Is that corn in the corn?
Exactly.
Maize? I'm sorry.
Maize. Yeah, locals were growing maize in different terraces at 1911. Yeah, this boy is considered the first official tour guide in Machu Picchu because he introduced different sectors in Machu Picchu to Hiram Bingham. That's why, no? He followed him. And Pablito is the official tour guide in Machu Picchu, 1911. Look at the picture.
What's that beneath it? What's this?
Astronomical move. Yeah? And look up. Oh, they were the story. Yeah? Look up. It was pretty hard, no?
Before and after?
You know, cut the trees. Yeah.
So is this in process of them
Process
taking it
1912. Yeah.
See why they couldn't find it.
up? Yeah. The jungle they're taking
Yeah,
it.
it was what are you looking at?
Scholars
not
died as
understanding
well.
this. I mean,
You know, the snakes, you know. Yeah.
the jungle preserved it.
The snakes are like, and we don't like
Okay.
it here.
Hiram Bingham decided to write in his book, no? When he asked locals about the name for this sacred place, the locals say, we don't know the official name for this Inca site. Just the locals call the mountain Machu Picchu. And Hiram Bingham decided to write in his book, not the lost city of the Incas by Hiram Bingham. I'm gonna say the same name of the mountain for the Inca site. That's why nowadays we say, no, Machu Picchu, Machu Picchu. But Machu Picchu is not the official name. Yeah, Machu Picchu is the name for this mountain. Yeah, at the beginning, Hiram Bingham believed Machu Picchu was the lost city of the Incas. However, after 40, 50 years later, the scholars decided to excavate in different parts. And they believe Machu Picchu was the palace of Pachacutec Inca. And recently, I was talking about Johann Reinhardt, you know, he's anthropologist. He works for National Geographic and also he works for the Peru government. He lives in Machu Picchu actually.
Inca is like king, right? Where does he live? You said he lives in Machu Picchu?
Yeah.
Like up here? Where at?
That is a good question. Yeah, that is a good question.
And that was Inca Cola?
Who?
The king, was it Inca Cola?
No, Inca Cola, no.
He said, Pachu.
Pachacute,
Pachacute.
Oh, Pachacute, I'm sorry.
Pachacute, no. But recently, scholars are restoring different parts, and they are finding new evidences, pottery, textiles. So it's so interesting, my friends. They are finding potteries from other countries. You know, like 10 years ago, they found 2 potteries from Ecuador.
Wow.
You know, people from Ecuador came to build Machu Picchu. From Tucumán, Argentina. You know, from Bolivia. Remember, the excess above Machu Picchu knew just the knowledge people, not the common people. That's why just knowledge people live in Machu Picchu. Just 400 people. That's why Machu Picchu wasn't a city. Machu Picchu was a sacred place. And that's why most scholars believe Machu Picchu was a university too. We're gonna see, or we're gonna explore the knowledge part in the lower part. Schools, there was schools. You know, in the schools, we're gonna see the astronomical mirrors. You know, how the boys learn about observe the Milky Way, stars, the constellations. Remember,
Is it like a monastery or holy site?
What's crazy to me is
there was,
there's
yeah.
mountains, but then you look back there, and then there's
Yeah.
So, Mama, see, have you observed that?
No, why didn't you name it Machu Picchu when it's closer to whatever that mountain is?
Huayna Picchu?
Yeah, why didn't they name it Huayna Picchu instead of Machu Picchu? Because isn't Machu Picchu closer than Huayna Picchu?
Yeah.
So why did he name it Machu Picchu?
That is a good question because I think if you stay on the top of Huayna Picchu, it's much comfortable to see the sunrise, also the sunset. That's why they decide to build no houses, ceremonial places. But from the top of that mountain, it's not comfortable to see. That's why they use no Huayna Picchu to observe no, the sunset, the sunrise.
Right, but why didn't Hiram being named Machu Picchu after this mountain versus
Because
Huayna Picchu?
there was building on top.
Oh, okay.
That was the reason why, you know, they say, I'm gonna call Machu Picchu. That's what most scholars believe, no? Probably Huayna Picchu was the name. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah? Any questions so far, my friends? We're gonna start to go down, please.
the cities that have the word Bamba. Is that a river?
The river Urbamba.
Does Bamba mean river?
No, no. River means Mayu.
Mayu?
That's why we call Mayu the Milky Way,
Okay.
the celestial river. Bamba is like Pampa, you know, it's a plug for a spot. Bamba. It was Pampa, Urbamba. The Spanish changed the name Urbamba. Exactly. Yeah?
Well, I hope you enjoyed all that information. There's a lot there. So one more view of this. For you to know is they used basically every part of the land they could for agriculture or structures. So they would get pretty steep. As you see, as we get further down here, they'd get fairly steep when it comes to their terrace gardens. But they used every part of it because they honored the land so much they didn't want to waste it. But there were actual gardens in here as well. So let me show you one of the gardens. Oh, this is actually the groundskeepers. And that was probably too steep maybe for them to work on, to have terraced, or maybe there was terrace. I don't even know. This is actually, so I'm not going to the gardens just yet. I guess that's the next slide down. Oh, actually, that's inside the city. So, excuse me for that. These are water terraces. These were ways of getting rid of excess water. And they'd go straight down and allow the water to exit out if they needed to. But they had aqueducts, much like the Romans had aqueducts, that would run for miles from one spring up in the hill. They'd open it up, allow more water to come through, more water to come out, and it'd go down through the aqueducts, down into Machu Picchu, where they could get fresh water every single day. And it would be flowing forever, so they wouldn't actually run out of fresh water. It wouldn't get stagnant. It wouldn't just sit around. So that was pretty amazing that they, to find out they had aqueducts just like the Romans, except they weren't raised on stone like they were actually dug into the ground. Some places they were elevated, but most of the time they were just almost like streams running downhill. Now this is what I was talking to you about. This is the opening to Machu Picchu. If you had nefarious reasons, if you had like 5 or 6 people wide, an army very long, you could not get through this gate. And as you're running through this gate, if you're an invader, they're killing you as you come through. Stab, 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 stab. I mean, sorry, not to be violent, but literally, this would keep the cities safe, because those that were coming from the Incan Trail would come down right through this door, and it's like a bottleneck. So it allowed for safety of the people inside of Machu Picchu. It was a fortress. Oops, let's actually watch this. Look at the stones. Same thing as everywhere else. Now there's a difference between stone and that stone. Again, they didn't have huge quarries to get huge stones from. Not everywhere. So you had these, which were called commoner stones, which most areas that were commoners, you'd have this. When it was temples, you'd have the big, huge, interlocking stones. Okay. And oops. Next.
It might be from. It might be from.
And again, this is the scene from inside Machu Picchu. Every morning you get out of your hut, and that is what you'd see. And maybe they didn't think it was so great because they'd see it every single day. Well, man, I would love to wake up every morning to something like that. Look at that. Who needs a coastline when we got mountainside viewing?
Jungle potatoes, hot peppers, and jungle beans. Yeah, we saw the classical Inca tribe.
Okay, snip it there.
Jungle potatoes, hot peppers, and jungle beans. Yeah, we saw the classical Inca trail, right? There is a trail coming down along the mountain.
Okay.
That was the main access to get Machu Picchu at Inca's time. Yeah, the trail is coming from Ollantaytambo, which is the end of the Sacred Valley, and also from Cusco City. From Cusco City, in couple like 7-8 days, arrive Machu Picchu walking. The other trail is coming along by the other side, yeah, from Vilcabamba region. If you're gonna hear about Vilcabamba was the last refuge for my ancestors. That's why in that region, Incas built several cities. You know, Choquequirao, Vilcabamba, and other places too. Yeah, there is interesting place to visit, the Inca Bridge. There was a suspension bridge to get Machu Picchu, but Incas broken the bridge. 2 access so far, getting Machu Picchu. All world knew Machu Picchu, the access of this sacred place. Yeah, hey guys, we see the building. There is a building, the house. No, that one has a roof. That was the official checkpoint. No, the guard house, Casa del Guardián. Next to that building, there is a sacrifices stone. There is a big stone. We can see now, especially remember. Machu Picchu was a sacred place. Machu Picchu wasn't a city. Before heading to the main part, in this case, to the palaces or ceremonial houses, in some cases, people sacrificing animals. They found skeletons from animals, no? Alpacas, llamas, guinea pigs, and Peruvian dogs as well. Yeah, there was dogs in South America too. And they found a lot of stones. So many stones from different places. In the ancient times, you know, the people have the tradition bring stones. And near the sacred places, they put stones. You know, the stone represented, you know, the offerings. That's why there are, you know, a lot of stones near the guard house. Yeah, and my friend, we see this, the main gate in front of us. You look right there. That was the main access, you know, la puerta principal to heading Machu Picchu. Once the expedition arrived in 1911, they found, you know, the access was closed. That's why Hiram Bingham believed once Incas left Machu Picchu, they closed the main access too. Yeah, in this part, we're gonna see the evidence how Incas never finished to build the city. Once the Spaniards go Cusco, people were building Machu Picchu. They have to stop and they go halfway into the jungle because they were afraid. They believed if they could continue building the city, Spaniards catch up them. That's why they went to the Amazon jungle. Probably you heard about ayahuasca ceremony. no ayahuasca ritual. That is the reason why the ayahuasca, no, is a ceremony in the jungle. Because a lot of knowledge people, especially like doctors, astronomers, they go away into the Amazon jungle. Yeah, vamos a continuar. This way, please. Those materials they found here. It's difficult to transfer from the lower part. The mountain is very steep.
Yeah.
Ya, las canteras estuvieron aquí.
You know, I can agree with there's one thing that's definitely on the no-no list. You know that is, Sydney?
Yeah, that was no.
I was referring to the no-no list.
Probably praying mantis.
Okay, so he said a lot of things, and I'm not going to go through all the things, but one thing I wanted to bring back is right here. This just shows the other side of Machu Picchu. So when we came in, you saw one side, and the way that people take pictures, they always see one side, but there's a valley on the other side. So if you actually looked at it from up above, you'd see a river running through and coming back, and this is like a peninsula of mountain being routed out by that river that was rushing through. So most likely that water going over long periods of time has dug in deeper and deeper into the valley. So having this place up above, one, kept you really safe because you see everyone that's coming down the valley coming for you. So if someone's going to attack by the valley, you're going to see them. If they're going to attack from the Inca trails, you're going to see them. But see all these big stones? A lot of these stones were brought up here to be used on construction. And they basically said, hey, the Spanish are coming. They had people running down the Inca trail saying, Spanish are coming, the Spanish are coming. Regulars are out. American Revolution. They basically said, you know what, we're done here. We're not going to do any more because the Spanish are coming. They're going to take over our land. Let's keep going. Now, of course, they didn't know that it's Spanish. They didn't care. Invaders are coming. But as you can see over on this side, right here, that's really steep, and yet they still had terraced gardens. That's amazing. How do you build something like that? You're on steep land already. You're like, okay, I'm going to be on this cliff, and I'm going to put these rocks up here and hope that I'm not going to fall back or the wall's going to fall back on me. That would be nerve-wracking to me. But that's how they grew up. That's what they learned. I don't think they were too worried about it at all. Okay, next. This is the garden I was talking about. Now, this is really interesting because this is like a garden of all different types of vegetation that are around the area, including this one right here. This little plant right here is the cocoa. This is the cocoa leaf. And yes, cocoa leaf is great for making into a tea and relaxing yourself while you're going up for a hike. Actually, interesting enough, it's like an amphetamine. It actually speeds up your heart. At least that's how my brother-in-law, who was with us, he basically said it. He was our medical associate that was there for us medically if we needed him. But interesting enough, when we were there, he tried this out because he wanted to see what it was like, and his heart rate spiked up. He started to not hallucinate, but it was an interesting moment for him. His brain was not working as it normally should be. So, and that was just taken from the coca plant. This is a hallucinogen. The coca plant are part of cocoa, which is actually translated to, or the name we give it, if we have a ton of leaves, you dry them out, you ground them in. What do they create? They create cocaine, the drug. Yeah, so this is actually a place where you'd find the making of cocaine, mostly in Colombia, but that was all part of the Inca land at some point. But we're in Peru. So we asked him, is it normal to have people manufacture cocaine? It's like, well, it's not illegal here per se to have coca leaves and such. I mean, everyone uses them, and they use them for rituals and things like that. So they're not going to outlaw them. Okay, interesting. And so my associate said, what about marijuana? Is marijuana in there in the country? And it's like, well, you don't usually have people in in Peru making marijuana, and then the bus driver was just like totally laughing because yes, they have drugs here. They had a lot of drugs in Peru, but they didn't like to publicize it, and the government is trying to stop it. It is actually a place that is plentiful in those type of herbs and other things. But these are all, and here's another one that's really interesting. This is the national flower for Peru. Interesting enough, if you dry those out and you grind them in, it's also a hallucinogen. It's a drug. So people go on, and we actually got into conversations about in Aborigine land, so Australia, New Zealand, they go on walkabouts, and they walk about. And in Peru and Colombia and South America, they go on walkabouts. I'm trying to remember what it's actually called to them, but it's where you basically use these drugs to hallucinate, and then visions come and all these other things coming, and it's basically hallucinating. But yes, that is actually the truth about being here in Peru. The other side of Machu Picchu.
Mostly sweet potatoes, jungle potatoes. Yeah, and coffee.
And there's the locals
Driving like
harvesting potatoes and
2 hours
coffee.
driving into the valley, you catch up the Amazon jungle. But everything is flat. Yes, we are close to the Amazon, Peruvian Amazon jungle. Especially in the night. Yeah.
Oh, does it line up perfectly with the constellation?
Is that the Southern Cross?
The Southern Cross, this one. In the night, scholars observe the Southern.
I just knew that in North Equator it was the North Star, and I knew
Yeah,
that
you see? Yeah. Why the Incas observe the, or why the Inca cross was important for Inca, because they have to observe the Andean cross to organize the agriculture calendar, which moon start the harvest season and sowing season. Remember, there wasn't technology in the ancient times. That's why the people have to observe the cosmos, especially the Milky Way. You have evidence here, especially in the night. Yeah?
So north is
Yes. South. Give me yours.
So what part's north? The bottom there?
north to the bottom.
South is
South.
Always east and always west.
stone that points out. So he was saying north is the line that points out.
My water bottle compass.
That is the reason why UNESCO is closing Machu Picchu every year. On the future, they want to close Machu Picchu.
Who wants to close it?
Buildings are collapsing.
But who's trying to close it?
UNESCO, the Peru government. You know UNESCO? UNESCO and the Peru government.
Oh,
They want to close Machu Picchu. Sir,
Yeah, usually at that point I'm like, oh,
I'm trying to hold it great while it's point. Yeah.
buildings are collapsing now.
yeah, I had a difficult time with it. When I would hunt with him, he's just really good with directions and mountains.
Look at this picture, please. And this place is considered the main temple in Machu Picchu. Yeah, the temple principal. You see the big stone? They use like altar, yeah, for rituals. And this temple is looking Machu Picchu mountain. Yeah, behind Machu Picchu there is a huge glacier which is calling Salcantay. Yeah, Salcantay Glacier, you know, was considered the protector glacier of those Inca building, you know, in this area.
Do they
Yeah,
get snow
Salcantay.
right here sometimes?
¿Sigue?
Nieve, aquí.
No. Nunca nevó acá. Pero yes, near the top, yeah, in some cases.
Okay.
2020, no, the COVID time, nevó. People were afraid. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. COVID arrived. Yeah, you know, the locals, they predict. Because 2019, we couldn't see very clear the Milky Way. We couldn't see clear the Andean Cross. Farmers were afraid in the jungle, in the highlands. You know, difficult times come, the COVID comes. And there was a huge landslide on the Salcantay Trail. There is a famous trek, an adventure trek, Salcantay Trail. Tourists were going down, the landslide. No tourists, just locals. Just locals. Exactly. It's not local. Yeah, you understand now how the locals in the ancient time, you know, they accept the cosmos. You know, they predict different. Yeah? Look up, you may tell. If you look, they couldn't finish the building. Yeah? Under the land, they found a lot of hotels, textiles. When Hiram Bingham restored this part. I'm gonna show a picture.
Hiram Bingham was the first archaeologist. So they found the river before this river was captured.
If you get a book. He's gonna bring us to a place where you
Look at this picture. You see? Is this verb? You recognize? Or this verb? It's that one. Yeah?
Were there other archaeologists other than Hiram Bingham that were famous too?
Yes. Archaeologists, yeah. From United States, Brian Wyatt, Johann Reinhardt, you know, recently.
Dr. Jones?
Yeah. Gary Urton.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a story now. Yeah, they have a story now. But this picture,
Hiram Bingham was the first.
the first guy. Tell the story in Machu Picchu. Yeah, locals from Cusco. Yeah. There was, yes. Agustin Lizarra. No. Yeah?
I asked him the other side.
You see? You see just the half cross.
Oh wow.
On June 21st, 3 days ago, we seen this picture.
So the shot completes it.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool.
No, 3 days ago, June 21st, we celebrate the winter solstice.
Nice.
Another astronomical stone, yeah? The Chacana. See? The Andean cross.
And that's the Inca cross.
Inca cross. 3 days ago, yeah, he was able to see this picture. Not June 21st,
And that means the winter solstice.
winter solstice. The other day, where you see the same view is December 21st, summer solstice. Just in the solstice, winter and summer solstice. And look up, look at the wall. They left at the beginning, you know, they were building the wall. That is another evidence how Incas
The alcoves are things.
Lake Machu Picchu, no? They couldn't finish to build the city. Evidence. Stones. Yeah, 3 windows. 3 windows. It's easy to recognize, I mean, yeah? Ceremonial reason, the style, the walls are more quality than others. The same this about me. Yeah, the walls are more quality than others. Yeah? Question? Vamos.
not yet been
I knew it was coming.
I've not yet been what?
Old.
Wait, you just hear me tell you? You have.
I don't think that's a pigeon.
So like I said, like Manuel said, they're trying to close down Machu Picchu because of things like this. How they are falling apart over time. Now here's the interesting thing. According to him, they could actually fix this wall. But they want to show people how volatile it is in the area. And all the tour guides are telling us they might close this down. So you need to get your friends here. I don't know if it's a ploy. I'm pretty sure, I do know that there's articles out there, you can read them online, that they are trying to close down Machu Picchu. But do the tour guides want you to come here as fast as possible to be able to see Machu Picchu before they close it down? Yeah, that's probably it. And so they're probably keeping this part up so you can actually see how much it's falling apart. Now again, remember, this is over like 400 years, even 500 years almost, of deterioration. So yes, this would be actually falling apart like that. It's all set on bedrock though. So you actually have a mountain underneath of solid rock. And then you have all this stuff up above. So let's keep going.
You see? This is just the half cross.
Oh wow.
On June 21st, 3 days ago, we seen this picture.
So the shot completes it.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool.
No, 3 days ago, June 21st, we celebrate the winter solstice.
Nice.
Another astronomical stone, yeah? The Chacana. See? The Andean cross.
And that's the Inca cross.
Inca cross. 3 days ago, yeah, he was able to see this picture. Not June 21st,
And that means the winter solstice.
winter solstice. The other day, where you see the same view is December 21st, summer solstice. Just in the solstice, winter and summer solstice. And look up, look at the wall. They left at the beginning, you know, they were building the wall. That is another evidence how Incas like Machu Picchu, no? They couldn't finish to build the city. Evidence. Stones. Yeah, 3 windows. 3 windows. It's easy to recognize, I mean, yeah? Ceremonial reason, the style, the walls are more quality than others. The same things about this. Yeah, the walls are more quality than others. Yeah? Question? Vamos.
Not yet been
I knew it was coming.
I've not yet been what?
Old.
Wait, you just hear me tell you? You have.
I don't think that's a pigeon.
I want to know, do you see it? Do you see the cross that was right there from his picture? So this is actually like the top of the cross. The reflection from the sun, the shadow that it creates on June 21st, I think he said, is what's underneath it, which completes the whole cross. So they have the cross in this design all throughout the Inca culture and all throughout Machu Picchu, all based off the stars and how it actually works together. And as you can see from the constellation and from this stone that we saw a few minutes back, it's all based off of constellations and this Incan cross, which also, well, actually I have it right here. The Incan cross was actually very prominent all throughout the Incas. If I can find it. It might just take me too long to find this. And so I'll show you this design again, because I showed you in the other previous one, and he actually showed it too, but I'm going to show it again. Here we go. I just found it. There. See, these are the designs of the Inca crosses. And you find these all throughout Incan culture and their structures. And this is the meanings of them. So I can actually give you a link to see what those are, but you can look up, you can Google it and see what the Inca cross and how you actually can interpret the cross, because it has a lot to do with their beliefs, including gods and deities, 3 levels, which is like the eagle or the condor for the sky, the puma for land, and the underworld, the snake. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done.
It was coming. I've not yet been what?
Told.
Wait, we just hear me tell you? You have
This is inside Machu Picchu. Let's pause it right here. Let's pause it. Right there. You see this platform right there? That little platform right there is what covers up the new idol that they found. They saw the very tip of it and thought it was a stone. But when they started excavating, they found that it was actually an idol, a statue that was fully, it was still fully intact because it had never been destroyed by the Spanish. But most likely they sunk it into the ground. And now if they sunk this one in the ground, how many other ones did they plant before leaving, thinking that at some point they might come back? Which they never did. But if they had come back, it would be fully preserved in the ground. Some more views. So this is, turn around, the platform's over here. We came down from here and we walked this path, coming down into the lower areas. This is inside. There was actually tiered agriculture inside, or possibly even like something like an amphitheater, where someone would stand here and talk while people sat up here. Not 100% sure about this area. And it was probably used for both at some point. This is the archaeologist's path to the new idol that they're trying to uncover. Now this one is interesting. Can you see it? Do you see the stone? Look at the mountains behind it. It's built off of that stone. So I've actually got a picture I was showing you earlier. Some of these pictures from Hiram Brigham, right here. And as you can see, they map out the actual mountains behind it. Why they did it? No clue. Were they bored and they just had that big rock there and like, okay, what do we do to this rock? Hey, let's shape it like the mountain. Don't know. According to the tourists, it was all planned like that. Who knows? Who really does know? And this is inside one of the huts. So this is inside one of the dwellings. Now this could be a temple of the sun. It could be something else. It could be a dwelling for the royals. No one actually knows what this building was. But as you can see, and you'll see this in every single one of these buildings, they have the same niches. And these niches are where they held idols and held mummies. Mummies as in those that died, mummified, in the fetal position, put into these niches, the small ones. It's a little creepy. Just saying. Just my 2 cents.
Maybe like 20%. So they have like a couple of the temples, but like our guide was showing us see like the mound. Oh wow, look at this.
That's right. I said last.
It's like another one of those shrine rooms.
So what was it? The building. Thank you.
So it's a granary. It has 2 floors.
You'll just have to.
In some cases, no, the cultures exchange technology. Probably people came from those countries to this continent, no?
Yeah.
It's the same from
So
Peru.
perhaps Mexico to
Exactly,
here and
yeah.
back.
Very similar, very similar. The astronomy, for example, the Maya calendar is quite similar, like Andean cross. Very similar, very similar. Just with different contexts, you know. Mostly they represent the jaguar because in Mexico, you know, the environment is a lot of, you know,
Get in the settings somehow.
blue forest, you know, a lot of jungle, especially the Maya civilization. That's why the Mayas considered the jaguar as a sacred animal. But in Cusco, the puma, because Incas developed the civilization in the highlands, in the mountains, not in the jungle. That's why they represented mostly pumas. The Andean cross. Not, for example, eagles.
Condor.
Condor.
What about, did the Incas use the symbol of the jaguar at all?
No, actually, just in this environment. Okay. Just because the Incas couldn't conquer the whole Amazon jungle. It was very difficult because there was other cultures who lived in the jungle. They were powerful cultures. We see yesterday in Ollantaytambo, not the zona militar. There was other enemies. That's why for Incas it was very difficult to conquer the jungle. They conquered just this environment, the tropical jungle. Yes, not falcons, for example, no eagles or the condors, no? A snake. For example, the snail is a second
I
animal.
have to have the right lens.
We have to be at the station about 2:30. I'll double check.
Observatory is not available now. You see the stairs.
University up here. It's the university up there. They just don't allow people to go in anymore. And there's an observatory up there.
No, it's called.
They believe Machu Picchu was a university.
Which of those three is most likely? The university?
Yes, but yeah, it wasn't a university. Yeah, it was a palace. It was a sun. Machu Picchu was a sanctuary. That's why just just the nobles people know Machu Picchu, not the common people. Not the common people. Yeah.
And you're saying you don't know where the palace was or where the would be?
Me. They are finding new potteries from Colombia, Ecuador, and Machu Picchu. The builders in Machu Picchu from everywhere from South America. I think like 10 years ago, we believe the builders in Machu Picchu were from Cusco City. However, that information changed now.
It's
Because
actually kind
they're
of like,
fun.
this kind of sounds like Machu Picchu was similar to, what was it, the Library of Alexandria? A cultural, a university, a cultural learning. People came from many different places and they exchanged information.
Exactly.
Ding, ding, ding. So this was the university up here?
Part of the university. We go to the astronomical mirror, yeah? This way. On the mirrors, the people prepare the seasoning for the food. I'm gonna show this picture. At 1911, the expedition of National Geographic, they believe, no? These long Incas used for kitchens. You see the guy? You see Pablito?
So when did they decide it was an observatory instead of a kitchen?
At the beginning, because I am big and I was thinking maybe the middles they just prepared the system. However, information changed. It wasn't a kitchen. Can you see the picture? That's why you know he's prepared the season. Yeah, the season.
Oh, they thought it was a macaco.
The guy, Pablito. That's why they say,
The little boy?
why do they say, this one probably was the kitchen, no, it wasn't the kitchen.
Pablito said no kitchen.
No, Hiram Bing. Hiram Bing, I said, no, they believe not that. This one was the kitchen. But that's why, no, he said to the boy, to prepare the seasoning for cooking, but recently, with the new evidences, it was in the kitchen. Okay. You know, they just for astronomical reason.
So here you go. This is one of the examples of the let's see, the aqueduct that they had. Now, of course, it hasn't been kept up as much as it could have been, so now it's a trickle. But most likely, it would have been rushing water so the people could actually get fresh water all the time, cleaned up, non-stagnant, so that it was fresh water coming in all day long, every single day. Except, I guess, when the rains went away and they had a drought, because they most likely had droughts at some point, but it was a spring from the mountain, and a spring usually doesn't dry up much like the rain would dry up. So, who knows? Now, as we keep going, one last scene from the outside of Machu Picchu. We are heading off. This is the end of the tour of Machu Picchu. I hope you learned a lot. This is not the end of the video because there's a few more things I want to show you, including other ruins. But let's end this with just a few more things. Oh, nope. This is the end of it. Okay, so now I want to show you some things that were outside of this, including one of their lizards. Why I have this in here? I don't know. I just like lizards. I want to show you some of the animals. Now, I actually tried to get a really, really neat looking bird, and the sound of it was amazing. But it flew off before I could get my camera out, sadly, and I couldn't find another one. Now, this is on our train ride home. Now, do you see anything? Okay, you might see, oh, this is just a really old bridge that was put out there. Yeah, it is. It's not that fancy. Oh, there's old structures back there. Yeah, that's probably part of the, they're probably built by the same people that built the bridge. Oh, look in the background. What in the world is this? Now, actually, I don't know. This is not part of our tour. This is what I caught while we were driving on the train ride home. Now, this was interesting because it's not just, it doesn't look that impressive right there, but check this out. That is the ruins we were just looking at. And I didn't see that when we were coming there, and I didn't see it when we were coming back until just now, till it opened up. I saw, when we saw the bridge, and we're taking pictures of the bridge area, taking video of it, that there was something behind it, and this is what came out. Now, if you look, this is a large dwelling structure. Has this been reclaimed? Have archaeologists been able to explore it? I don't know. I wish I knew. That would be interesting to find out. Sorry. If you want the book that I purchased, you may be able to find it. It is not easy to get in the United States. It's not on Amazon. I tried looking. It's a different book that's there. So there is, if you want it, I can get you some more information about how to get it. But that is literally the end of our tour of Machu Picchu. I hope you enjoyed Machu Picchu. I hope you enjoyed some of the history and the science behind it. Tomorrow we will be going to, this is great, Lake Titicaca. Now, Lake Titicaca is one of the biggest, what is it? The highest navigational waters. So it's the elevation, it's the highest elevation. It's about 12,000 feet up. So 12,000 feet up, and you can still ride boats in it. You will not find many lakes where you can actually do that. So stay tuned for tomorrow. You're going to enjoy this because we're going to be visiting the floating islands. The artificially made by those that were Incan, but they don't speak Incan. They speak Algonquin. Algonquin? I'll freshen up on that part. I don't remember exactly the language, but they only speak that language on the floating islands, and they still speak it today. and they still live on those islands. So stay tuned for tomorrow. You're going to enjoy this. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, actually. Take care. Bye.